Today, on Be Something Wonderful, how the quantum you creates reality. I am your host, Tom Karen, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of higher consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Creators, welcome back. I had an amazing full day of coaching sessions yesterday, and there were some great questions that came up and a lot of ground that we covered. And I want to bring up a few of those today in this video, in this lesson. And one of the questions was, Tom, so I'm in my wish fulfilled, I'm feeling good, and then for instance, I call my SP, and then she's really cold to me. And then I pull back, I start feeling that I made a mistake. And then I have trouble getting back into my wish fulfilled. I'm just confused that when should I take action, when shouldn't, what should I do? And then the other one was, Tom, how does the idea, I've watched your videos on talking about a hologram and that we're in a holographic non-local universe. How does that fit in for me creating my own reality? Well, guys, we're going to talk about both of these today and even combine them and more. Here's the first thing I want to say on action. Remember, action doesn't create reality. It creates something, and it creates the illusion of reality in 3D when you try to move effects around by will. But it doesn't create reality. It's your state of being, your belief, your assumptions, your concept of yourself that creates reality within. And then the actions you take are to experience that already created reality, to enjoy it. We've talked about this, right? So remember, when you take action and you're not aligned with that higher concept of yourself, you're not aligned with your wish fulfilled, who you want to be, right? And who you believe yourself to be to live that wish fulfilled, then it doesn't matter how much action you take. You're not going to be moving on the path of least resistance to everything you want. In fact, you're going to view it as you're going to view whatever you're creating as unwanted, right? Realities that are unwanted. You're going to move to lifelines that are not in accordance with your wish fulfilled. But on the other hand, when you are aligned with that greater concept of yourself, right? Your wish fulfilled. You're not even going to be questioning your actions or even the results of those actions, the response in 3D to that. Because there's no action that can pull you off the path when you're in alignment, when you are aligned with that greater part of you, when you're aligned with that higher concept. Do you hear this? So we're going to talk about that a little bit more today. And a big part of it, guys, we've talked about this, is the concept of your self-concept. Who you believe that version of yourself, who do you believe you are to create the reality that you want, right? Because it's that assumption, occupying that version of yourself, that creates everything. So action doesn't matter because you're going to be taking actions that are aligned with that concept of yourself. And remember, when that came up, if you were truly aligned, you wouldn't have questioned your SP being cold. You would have known that you're in alignment, and that is aligned with your new reality. And who knows, maybe she would have called back and said, hey, I was going through something, I really need your help. This is what happens, right? Remember, we create reality as we're responding to it, as we're reacting to it, as we're looking at it. We are reality. So this is important to remember. We're going to unpack this a little bit more. And then I want to get at the idea of a hologram or a holographic universe and a non-local. Remember, the whole part of this higher concept is to remember that you're not living in a 3D reality where you're separate from everything else. If you believe you're in a reality of parts, and you believe you're separate, then you take action to try to make something happen. You don't believe in that power within to create your reality. That's what's important about a hologram. Why? Because in every part or every piece of the hologram is the whole. And it's everywhere. It's connected everywhere. So whatever action you take is coming from you. You're changing reality in that moment with every thought, feeling, assumption, and action. Right? The thing is, if you believe in the solidity and the solidness and the fixedness and the denseness of 3D reality, then your thoughts align with that limited belief. But if you believe in the quantum nature, the spiritual nature, the unlimited nature of reality. Then you start thinking quantum. You have quantum thoughts versus 3D fixed thoughts, right? And that changes everything, right? Remember, you affect everything with your thoughts and feelings and beliefs. So let's unpack this a little bit more. You, the 3D world, the universe, and all that is, infinity, the quantum field, God, is holographic and non-local. What does that mean, and what does it mean to you? It means each point or part of a hologram mirrors the whole. It means each point or part of the hologram that exists anywhere within it exists everywhere within it. Wow. This means your thoughts, when you think it, are everywhere. Right? That whatever your state of being, it's everywhere and it's everything. It's coming from you. There is no objective reality outside of your experience of it. Powerful, right? It's not just that you are connected to everyone and everything else. That would be pretty big, and we are. But that within you is everyone and everything else. Hear this, right? We're going quantum today. Right? It's not just that you're connected to everyone and everything else, and that's pretty big, but that within you is everyone and everywhere else, and it's everywhere, and it's right now. And it's all so hear this. It's everywhere. It's right now, and it's within you, and it's outside of you. It's everything, right? And this isn't new. I know Neville coined the term "everybody is you pushed out," but that concept's been around for 5,000 years, 6,000 years, since the beginning of time, since before time began. That's not new, right? You're connected to everything. And not only that, in everything, but within you is everyone and everything, and it's everywhere, and it's right now. There is no time. That's big. That's what we're talking about. So when you try to predict or control reality, when you try to poke reality, push it, hit it face on, 3D reality, it pushes back, right? Why? Because you are 3D reality. Right? You're creating it as you're doing that. As you're poking at it and pushing and looking for a response, it's responding, but it's you. It's all you. That's why it's not about predicting or controlling anything. It's about creating and allowing. Do you hear this? Creating with your state of being, creating with that concept of yourself, that self-concept. Let's hit this a little bit more. If your concept of the 3D world is that the people, things, and events are separate and solid, then you will believe that the only way to change things is by pushing and pulling on the effects to make something happen. And we know what happens then, right? That's why things go from bad to worse. Because you're pushing and pulling on, and you're creating as you're doing that, right? You get what you create, what you expect. Right? So you're trying to make something happen, right? The 3D manifested world is linear and limited, where you try to predict and control things. The quantum world, the spiritual world, is where you create and allow. It's timeless and unlimited. Do you see that? That's pretty clear. Well, let's go another layer. There's no reality, we talked about this, and some of you even were commenting on the channel, outside of your experience of it, right? Your experience is formed by the concept of yourself, by your concept of the world, and your relationship to all that is. Hear this. So we know that there's no reality outside of our experience of it. Okay, so what determines the experience? The experience is formed by your concept of yourself, your concept of the world, and your relationship to all of it, all that is. Do you hear this, guys? That's what you determine, how you determine what part of that whole that you perceive. Because whatever you perceive, the other disappears from your experience, right? That you collapse the wave, you collapse the particle, right? That quantum energy fluctuates and pops in and out of existence depending on what you're thinking, feeling, and believing. And when you believe something, when you assume something, when you put your attention on something, you collapse the wave, and that's all you can see. All the other possibilities, the infinite possibilities, the infinite realities that you could live are no longer exist to you until you move your attention awareness to it, defined by your concept, right? They're all there. They're all happening, but you can't see them, you can't perceive them, so therefore they don't exist for you. So you want to so instead of a 3D linear view of trying to predict what people, events, and circumstances will do because it feels solid, by trying to move it and influence it and hit it head on, you're trying to push it and pull it and prod it for something to happen. Take the quantum view, right? That's why the idea of a hologram and non-locality is important, right? There's no objective fixed reality. Here we said it's just your experience of it. That's the only thing that's real for you, is your experience. Right now, your whole life experience is what you're thinking, feeling, believing right now. Right? You're not, but what's the good news? If there is no objective reality, if this is the view you take, that there's no fixed reality, then you're not stuck with the unwanted reality. Hear this, because I hear a lot, I feel stuck. I feel trapped. It's gone on year after year. You're not stuck when you move your view, when you move that concept of yourself, that you're a quantum spirit, you're a quantum superhuman. Right? Take that view. You are spirit. You are God. That's the Christ within you. Right? You are quantum. So there is no objective fixed reality. You are not stuck with an unwanted reality. Everything is in a state of infinite possibility. And what manifests depends on the observer. That's what quantum physics says. Everything's in a possible state of flux. It's either a wave or a particle until that's collapsed, until there's an observer involved. What does that mean? It means your experience of reality depends on you, depends on your concepts on belief. Otherwise, it just remains as a possibility, as a potential in the field of infinite possibilities, or as God, right? The infinite intelligence, right? Unconditioned. Right? The I am is unconditioned. It remains unconditioned and you say I am something. Right? Otherwise it just remains I am. It remains as a quantum possibility. Are you getting this, guys? Big today. We've talked about this, I get it, but we're seeing it from a whole different view, a quantum view today. So people, things, conditions, events, it's all energy vibrating and popping in and out of existence. Or in other words, out of manifestations, right? What manifests is popping in and out. It's changing constantly, right? It's vibrating and fluctuating, right? And what does that mean then? For you, it means 3D reality is malleable and changeable in every moment of now. In every moment of now, because these particles these particles or waves or energy or quanta are coming in and out of existence. And you can't predict it. It almost seems chaotic. But it's not. It's managed by the manager, the divine will, right? God, that higher being, the mix of all thoughts, the mix of all feelings, the mix of all states of being. But you have an effect. You have an effect within. And so you can create your own personal layer of that, right? These things exist as a wave or particle until observed. And you are the observer, right? You are reality. You're creating it, right? So what does that mean? What you want or what you don't want exists as possibilities and are real and true right now. All what you want and all what you don't want are both true. The opposites are both true. We get so caught up in going, oh my God, I got the opposite of what I want. The opposite always exists. That's the whole, because the opposite, that's part of the whole. We're in duality, but we can't see both at the same time. We can feel both. Hear this. This is big today. We can't see both what we want and what we don't want. In other words, in physical reality manifested at the same time. You're either seeing something you want or you don't want. But both of those possibilities exist as quanta, as potential, as energy, as infinite intelligence, always. And so both of those are valid. And when you fight against one of them, like the unwanted, then you're creating that, you're believing in it, and it becomes your reality. You collapse the wave. So this seemingly chaotic energy is intelligent and self-organizing. This is the quantum view. It's intelligent and self-organizing. What does that mean for you? You don't need to struggle, force effort to get anything right. Do you hear this? It knows what it's doing. God knows what it's doing. The quantum field knows. And it knows everything, everywhere, and it knows it all right now. So let's hit this. This energy of which you are made is everywhere in all time. What does that mean for you? Everything's happening right now, everywhere. There's never ever a reason to stop and regret, to beat yourself up, to feel guilty, to feel unworthy. None of that exists unless you say it exists. You can change that right now. The past is happening right now. The future is happening right now. The present is happening right now. It's all right now. And you have an effect on all of it. That's why worry and anxiety about the future makes no sense, and regret and resentment and guilt and fear and frustration, all of that, none of that makes sense. If it's all coming out of you, if you're creating it all in every moment, this energy vibrates and fluctuates, bursting in and out of existence in time and space. Right? Quantum leap. What does this mean for you? It means you can take a quantum leap into any reality that you desire. That's what quantum leap means. That's where the term came from. It's this energy leaping in different locations, backwards and forwards in what we call time. But now we know there is no time. It's just leaping everywhere. It's everywhere in all time. But that's what a quantum leap is. That's what that energy does. There are no limitations to self except those you believe in. This is what Seth said through Jane Roberts. Right? There are no limitations except those you believe in. So let's try this. Let's have fun with this potential, with this unlimitedness. For the next 48 hours, you're going to start this, and you're going to give it 2 days. 48 hours, that's all. You're going to suspend your disbelief. Suspend your disbelief. Suspend your frustration. Forgive everybody and yourself. Even if you feel you can't do it in the long run, do it for 48 hours. Suspend all of that, right? Be quantum for 48 hours, right? Think of someone you know, right? It doesn't even have to be someone close to you. Choose what you want them to do or say within the next 48 hours. What do you want them to do or say to you in the next 48 hours? It could be, for an example, you could be thinking of them and call them by name, like Angie, bring me a small gift. Send me a message of good news. Something like that, right? Or it could be a specific thing, right? Yeah, pick up concert tickets. It could be very specific, right? Do this, imagine it, and then embody the experience. Send them love, right? Embody them. Feel it happening. Feel it real. Try this for 48 hours. Try pulling something in here, because remember, we're all connected. There is no separation. That's the characteristic of a hologram, that is all within you, and it's everywhere, and it's happening right now, right? So try this. Think of someone you know. Think of something that they would say to you, right? Call that forth. Call that reality forth. Suspend all disbelief. Suspend all resistance, right? Sometimes it's interesting, or we don't need to be in that resistance, but just suspend it. You can do that for 48 hours, right? Suspend all those contrary thoughts. Let them be there if they come up, right? You don't have to believe in them. The more you think quantum, the more quantum thoughts you're going to have. And as thoughts about the limitedness of 3D reality, they start fading into the background. Try this and let me know. That's how the quantum you creates reality. I am your host, Tom Caron, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of higher consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification button, like and share our videos. That's how we get our message out. You can follow us on Facebook at Be Something Wonderful. We have a group, the Be Something Wonderful Ambassadors. More and more, I love it, every day. You can join that. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Tom Caron. Like I said, the content, soon we'll have content, wonderful content for all these channels. And you can visit our website at tomcaron.com or besomethingwonderful.com. Until next time, guys, with great love, with great light, infinite gratitude, see you soon.